Hey guys, Break here, and for today's discussion point whilst opening up the mail, we're going to be talking about patch 8.1, we're going to be talking about the profession changes and how you can or can't make gold in the new patch. Now the reason I'm releasing this video right before the patch and not a week before is that I don't think there's too much you can do to prepare. Now I know lots of people have been buying out certain materials which might go up in price, and whilst I kind of agree that they'll go up in price, I don't think there's going to be any serious profit to be made, because most of the materials people are buying out already only cost like 10 silver, and there's so much of it on the auction house and around the place that realistically, even if it goes up by 100% or 500%, it's still not going to be a great profit. So I didn't suggest to anyone buying out the materials, but if you have bought out materials, then good luck. I'm sure you will make a fairly good amount of profit. We'll see anyway, but I don't think there's anything there that's too much. I think in terms of preparation, the main things you can do is get Expulsum, because Expulsum is used for the new 340 gear for the professions, and also get the Marks of Honor that you get from doing Battlegrounds and PvP, because those are required to buy the new rank 2s and rank 3s recipes. But that's really it for preparation. As long as you have some Marks of Honor and as long as you have some of the Expulsum, then you're going to be able to make the new crafted gear as soon as it comes out, and you're going to be able to make as much profit as possible. And before we talk about general gold making tips for the patch, I'd like to give you my sort of thoughts on it in general, because overall I'm not overly excited by the changes. I thought professions needed a lot more changes, and I don't think Blizzard have really delivered on that front. Now I know that we're going to be able to craft the new gear, which is like 385 and 400 maybe, and even 410, something like that, but that gear can't be sold, so I'm not really very excited by it. I'm a gold maker, I like to concentrate on stuff that we can actually make to sell, and the new super high level gear can't be sold, it's BOP. The only gear that can be sold is 340, and whilst that is an improvement, and I think it will sell, because I sell BOEs that are 350 now quite often, so I think the 340 gear will sell, and it will keep selling right until the raid and probably past that as well. But I think that they should have either upped the item level or allowed you to sell some of the 385 crafted stuff with the items you get from the raid. I think they should have done something, because it's not very exciting and there's not going to be huge profits to be made from the crafted gear, unfortunately. I just wish they'd done something new with the crafted gear. You know, why don't they let it Warforge? Because I don't like Warforging, I don't like it in the game. But if it is in the game and it has to be in the game, why can't they give crafted gear a small chance to Warforge just slightly? You know, so maybe you can get lucky and get a 350 with a socket or something, and that would let it sell for more. Just something to make the crafting experience a bit more useful and a bit more exciting, because at the moment it's just not exciting whatsoever. Anyway, in terms of other gold making changes apart from the professions, there is of course the new Warfront which is coming, and this new Warfront is the Darkshore Warfront, and it's a bit different how they're going to do the quest turn-ins. So for those of you who didn't know, a lot of people made gold through the quest turn-ins for the Warfront, so they'd see what items were needed for the quest and they'd go buy out those items and try and sell them in trade chat, sell them on the auction house in the right stack size, and you can make a nice little profit flipping the items that were required for the Warfront turn-ins. Anyway, now what's going to happen is that there's only going to be 3 quests per Warfront, but they're going to change every day that the Warfront is up. So one day there'll be 3 hand-ins, say for leather and some potions and something else, and then the next day there'll be 3 different hand-ins, say for some blacksmithing item or something like that. So it's going to change every day, and what's this going to do? I don't really know. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. A lot of people are saying that it'll probably mean there'll be high levels of sales in that day for your items, which is true, but there'll also only be a day to sell them. So if you're planning on buying up loads of items to flip them, you need to flip them all in that day, and if you don't, then the quest's going to turn in and the supply's going to go right down. So it might make things a bit more profitable, but also will make things a bit more risky. To be honest, on the high pop servers by now, the Warfronts really aren't that popular. I think the new Warfront will be popular, so we will see some more turn-ins, but the old Warfronts, they've been a bit of a disaster and not many people are playing them, and that's meant not many people are doing the turn-ins. So on any high pop server, there's rather little profit from flipping those items, but I think for the new Warfront, at least in the first few weeks, there will be some profit to be made. So go look at the new Warfront and go see what items need to turn in, and see if you can make some profit flipping those items. But those are basically the two major changes. We have the Warfront and we have the profession changes. Neither of them are too exciting for gold makers, and I don't see either of them making too much huge profits, but I think in terms of recurrent long-term profit, there is some good stuff to be made, particularly in terms of the crafted gear. I think if you can get your shuffle right in terms of getting cheap expulsum, then you can make quite a lot of gold. And so I think your best bet and your plan of action should be something like this. You want to log on patch day. You want to use all the marks of honor that you've been saving to buy up the rank 2 and rank 3 new professions for your profession, whichever profession you have, buy out the new ones. I then think you should use all the expulsum you have to start crafting the new 340 profession gear. And you want to create more than one, because remember, it can proc different stats. So say you create 3 of each lot of gear, 3 hands, 3 braces, 3 whatever, and hopefully you'll get some nice different stats. And then you want to post them on the auction house in terms of their stats. Remember, don't post all at the same price. You want to look at the price of the items and post them differently. And say if you've got a mastery and there's no high level mastery 340s on the auction house, you can post your mastery gear for more. So do pay big attention to the stats, guys, because they do make a big difference for your crafted gear. Also, make sure you have your expulsum shuffle sorted. I've talked about this in a lot of videos, but the basic idea is to create braces, usually cloth braces, maybe the leather braces, depends on your server, but usually the cloth. And then you want to scrap them, and every 6 braces will get you 1 expulsum on average. So that's a good way to build up expulsum, and you should be able to get it pretty cheaply by doing that. Apart from that, I think most things really are going to stay pretty much the same in patch 8.1. They're not really changing much. Maybe alchemy potions will become less expensive, well, they definitely will, because the mats required to make them have gone down by quite a lot. But profitability will probably remain pretty similar, and that's pretty much 0 for a lot of servers, unfortunately, for alchemy. And apart from that, again, the enchants and glyphs will probably keep on selling, so that's all good. Don't think anything will change there. And I know some people have been saying how the BOEs, the 350 BOEs and then raid BOEs will start losing value because of the 340 crafted gear. And whilst I think this might impact it to a small extent, I don't think the BOEs are going to go down too much in price. The only reason they would is because less people might be playing leading up to the new raid, because this happened in Legion quite a lot. They updated the crafted gear and people thought it might mean the raid gear doesn't sell as much, but actually that didn't really happen. I mean, the raid gear is pretty much 340 and above, so it's all pretty much above the item level of the new crafted gear, and I don't see that that's going to have too much of an effect on it. I think maybe the prices of the lower gear will obviously go down, particularly if the crafted gear is better. It depends on the stats. But if you're flipping 350, 360, 370 gear, usually the people buying those are raiders who want to gear up their ults and they want to get the best item level possible. They're not going to be pleased with a random bit of 340 crafted gear. They want their 370s. So I think if you're flipping the high level BOEs like I mostly do, then you're going to be fine. But to be honest, I think it's going to be a bit of a strange time, because usually you expect patches to bring people back to the game, but I can't really see that happening in this patch because there's hardly anything new. You know, a new Warfront, obviously the new raid's coming out, but that's in, you know, maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks after the patch. So if we're going to have to wait like 2 months for the new raid, I'm not actually sure of the exact dates, but we're definitely going to have to wait over a month for the new raid. And that's going to be very, very strange. I don't think people are going to come back for patch 8.1. I do think people will come back for the raid. Apparently it's a very, very good raid, and I am quite excited to see it. So I do think people will be back for that. But in terms of coming back for a random patch 8.1 that doesn't really include anything, apart from a Warfront that nobody really plays anyway, then I don't really know. I don't think it's going to encourage many people, and that's going to mean the gold making is still going to be a bit stale. Us gold makers love having people playing and actively playing, wanting to spend their money to improve their characters. You know, if people are playing but are bored, it might be good, they might buy some more vanity items, but if they don't care about progressing their character to raid or whatever, then they're not going to buy out the high item level gear, they're not going to spend loads on doing this, doing that, and it's just going to be worse for us. So as gold makers, we really want people to be excited by the game, playing the game a lot, and really be invested in their characters, and hopefully the new raid will do that. I don't think this patch will do that, however. I will be doing a video after the patch is released to talk about any niche markets that develop because of the patch. This does usually happen. There's usually something you didn't really expect to be profitable that turns out to be profitable, so that's always really good. And on a smaller note, at least the Feast of Winter Veil is coming up, and that always has a good opportunity for gold making with the Minion of Grumpus farm, etc. But that is about it for this video, guys. Just collecting the last bit of gold. We looted 2.1 million gold in this video, so that's over 1 million gold in profit in sort of 10 days. So we're still making pretty nice profits. Things have slowed down slightly, but I don't really think that's because of the patch. I think that's more because I've been investing less, and it's also because people are just playing less and there's less of a market for certain items. It's a bit of a shame, but I'm still seeing some sales. I'm still seeing some pet sales, and I'm definitely still seeing BOE sales, so I don't think the patch is going to change that too much, but I am a bit disappointed that the patch isn't bringing anything super exciting for professions or anything that's really going to rejuvenate the market. Like I say, I think if you're prepared with your expulsums and with your marks of honor, then you can make some gold with the new crafted gear, especially if you price it correctly. But for everything else, I don't think there's too much excitement there. And I'm just hoping the new raid, and of course the big patch 8.2, is going to bring some real nice additions to the game, which should be exciting. But until then, we'll have to see. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, see ya.